it just picked up in intensity. It ramped up, this gentle shaking, and things started coming off the shelves.
Hard to believe that was almost a year ago, the news we were bringing you as the devastating March 11th Japanese earthquake was taking place, and you realize debris from the ensuing tsunami is moving closer to the West Coast. Paul Lindman and Scott Lynn with you on the Morning Update. Had a chance to talk with Jack Barth. He's an oceanographer and ocean associate dean of OSU's College of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Sciences. And we asked how much junk is coming, where, and when.
Well, let's start with the last part first, the when. We think it'll be late 2012 into early 2013. So the earthquake that caused the tsunami wave back in Japan was just about a year ago now. So a full 2 years before it really starts showing up on our beaches.
How much stuff and what's involved?
Well, first of all, I want to just dispel real quick people's images of these rafts of lumber and things that you almost might walk across that we saw from Japan. The ocean's really spread it out. So the Japanese tell us 25 million tons, but lots of that's going to be spread out and sunk, and not as much of that will make it to our shores.
Do we know where this will hit?
We know for sure that the ocean currents take it on almost a direct path from Japan to the Oregon shores. And it does get spread out as it goes, but we're in a direct path. If it hits in the winter, the stuff's going to get smeared up to the north. If it hits in the summer, it'll go south along Oregon and California.
What does that look like in the sea right now? Can you describe it for us?
Sure, yeah, and I think what we'll likely to see are things that float, so pieces of lumber, light plastics. There certainly will be some bottles, plastic bottles, things like that. But seeing it out at sea, it's very dispersed, so you'd see a piece here, a piece there, not these rafts of 2x4s that we saw. So as it comes in about 9 months to a year from now, it'll be in bits and pieces.
And what are we doing about it right now, if anything?
Well, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, has got a very nice web page that people could look at. They post updates. They're asking the shipping fleets to look for the debris. Right now, we don't have any good visual confirmations from anywhere except out by Hawaii. So only about halfway across the Pacific have we had a visual confirmation.
And you've corrected some images for me because it's so spread out. I was thinking in my mind of one of these huge raft-like affairs. Because it is so spread out, it's probably difficult to collect in any way at this point before it makes fall on the coastline.
That's a really good point. You'd think that you could sweep it up out at sea, but it's really going to be too dispersed. But I should say that our Oregon fishermen are in a great spot to help us out because they've got the eyes out there and can give us some early warning.
Should we be at all concerned about this stuff being radioactive?
No, and the consensus is it won't be a problem, and there's three reasons. One is that when the tsunami wave in, it was several days ahead of any radiation spill. Second is huge dilution of the ocean. And thirdly, the North Pacific's a very unforgiving place, so waves and winds pounding on this stuff and pretty much washing off any possible radiation.
Of course, we're famous here in Oregon for our Solve Beach cleanups. I'm wondering if we could time that to meet the stuff when it comes in. Is that a possibility?
Well, that's exactly right. And there's a number of groups, including Solve and Surfrider and some of the state agencies that are getting a plan together. And I think that'll emerge over the next month or so. So you're right. You know, that Solve spring beach cleanup during spring break, I think we need to let people know what's going on and have them ready.
Is there any precedent for this? Have we seen anything like this before anywhere else in the world?
Yeah, I think, of course, things are coming ashore in Japan, over the last year, certainly. Hawaii and Midway Island seem to collect a lot of plastics and things that are in that great garbage patch. But one other kind of myth is that this may not add a lot more garbage than we add already. So there's a fair bit of stuff out there just dropping off ships and coming out of our ports. Why
wouldn't it be more? It just seems logical that it would be.
I think it will be, but I guess I'm saying it may be, half again as much or something like that. That would be a best-case scenario rather than a huge amount coming ashore.
Professor Jack Barth, Oregon State University. Thanks for educating us this morning, Jack.
Thank you. You're welcome.